We often feel devoted to our beloved characters on our favorite TV shows. Watching them in every episode becomes essential, but when these characters die, fans feel devastated. The acting skills of these characters are so real that fans unwillingly accept these distressing deaths. Welcome to Binge TV, and be ready to open the old wounds. Here are the top 10 saddest deaths in TV shows. 10th place, Tara Maclay, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Tara Maclay was a witch and a member of the Scooby Gang. She grew up in a traditional family in which her father and brother imposed the belief that the women of their family were a part demon. Growing up, Tara developed an interest in magic and became rebellious. She was the girlfriend of Willow Rosenberg. Willow was also interested in magic, which led to both learning and practicing new spells. Tara became the victim of Glorificus when the goddess interrogated her about the identity of the key. Tara kept Dawn safe at the cost of her sanity being absorbed. After Buffy's resurrection, Tara disapproved of Willow's growing magical abuse, which resulted at the end of their relationship after she discovered that she had altered Tara's memories. Tara was killed by a stray bullet shot by Warren Mears. 9th place, Lance Sweets, Bones. Dr. Lance Sweets was one of the best characters in Bones. Sweets was brought into the series in the 3rd season, The Secret in the Soil, as a psychologist to Seeley Booth and Temperance Brennan. Sweets, an FBI psychologist, his father-son relationship with Booth earned him plenty of fans. While he is annoyed at Booth, Sweets stands his ground. He falls in love with lab assistant Daisy Wick. After a near-death experience, Sweets proposes to Daisy, who accepts. Both rent an apartment together, but soon Sweets starts to have doubts about moving with Daisy, especially after learning from Angela and Booth that, while he may not see moving in with Daisy to be a big deal, she likely does. In the final moments of The Conspiracy in the Corpse, Booth and Bones arrive at a parking garage after Booth received a distress call. They arrive to find Dr. Sweets lying on the ground, bloodied and bruised. After a brief discussion between Booth, Bones, and a fading Sweets, he finally dies as an ambulance is heard arriving in the background. His last words were, "The world is a lot better than you think it is." It's 8th place, Will Gardner, The Good Wife. Will Gardner was portrayed by Josh Charles for the first 5 seasons of the show's run. Charles received 2 Primetime Emmy Award nominations as well as a Golden Globe nomination. Will Gardner is an old friend of Alicia's. He helped her get a job with the firm. Both develop feelings for each other. Their affair begins, but they break up when Alicia's daughter goes missing, and Alicia decides she needs to focus more on her children. He is seen as very much of a ladies' man throughout the series and had various love affairs and girlfriends. Will generally had a good working relationship with Diane Lockhart, his co-managing partner at the firm, and the two demonstrate a shrewd ability to guide their business even through difficult times. Will is suspended from practicing law for 6 months as punishment stemming from an old bribery scandal, but returns to the firm. After much planning, Alicia and Carrie leave Lockhart and Gardner to start their own firm. Will takes this betrayal personally. He is shot and killed in the courtroom by his client, Jeffrey Grant. 7th place, Jack Pearson, This Is Us. Jack Pearson was the patriarch of the Pearson family and the husband of Rebecca and the father of Kevin, Kate, and Randall Pearson. Jack wakes up, sees smoke and then fire, and tells his wife Rebecca to wet some towels. He crawls through the blazing hallway, first getting his son Randall back to the parents' bedroom, then tearful daughter Kate. The 4th kid, Kevin, is staying at his girlfriend's house, escaped to the roof, and used sheets to rappel to safety. However, Jack, trying to save Kate's dog, returns to the house as the blaze rages. The family screams and cries below, convinced he's dead, before Jack emerges from the front door with the dog and some family valuables. Jack is suffering from burns on his hands and smoke inhalation, but it appears he cheated death. Later at the hospital, everything looks okay after a doctor examines Jack. Rebecca leaves the room to call for a hotel reservation and check on the kids. While she's gone, Jack has a heart attack and dies, succumbing to the smoke. 6th place, Sam Winchester, Supernatural. Samuel Winchester was a hunter as well as a man of letters, along with his older brother Dean. He is one of the main protagonists of Supernatural. Both Sam and Dean are related to the Winchester and Campbell families, a letters family and a hunting family respectively. The pair also shares a bloodline with Cain and Abel. Sam was predestined to be the true vessel of the fallen archangel Lucifer. Sam is friends with the angel Castile, prophet Kevin Tran, the demon Meg, and demon Ruby. With the growing threat of the apocalypse world, Michael, the return of Gabriel, and death of Asmodeus, Sam's focus shifted completely to saving his family and ending the threat of Michael and Lucifer once and for all. After being killed by vampires in Apocalypse World, Sam was resurrected once more by Lucifer and reluctantly allied with his old enemy in light of the situation. Sam's decision to purposefully strand Lucifer in Apocalypse World again led to severe consequences when Michael and Lucifer worked together to reach the main universe. Though Lucifer was finally killed by Dean with the help of Michael, the victory was short-lived for Sam after he was forced to watch his brother taken over by Michael, who is let loose upon the main universe in the body of his one true vessel. After Dean's final death, Sam goes on to live a long life, have a family, and eventually die of old age. 5th place, Allison Argent, Teen Wolf. Celestine Allison Argent was the main character of the Teen Wolf series. She is the daughter of Chris Argent and Victoria Argent. Despite being descended from a long line of prolific French werewolf hunters, Allison was unaware of her legacy as a member of the Argent family until shortly after her 17th birthday, when her Aunt Kate introduced her to the world of Supernatural. Though she was originally resistant to her heritage, she finally began to seriously train in combat and the use of a multitude of weapons during her sophomore and junior years at Beacon Hills High School, where she found that she had a natural affinity for the craft. She lived by the code, "We protect those who cannot protect themselves," until the end when she was fatally stabbed by an Oni demon's sword during a battle in Insatiable, though she saved the lives of her friends with her sacrifice. 4th place, Lexi Gray, Grey's Anatomy. Lexi Gray was the daughter of Thatcher Gray and his second wife, Susan. As a child, she was bright and skipped 3rd grade. When she turned 7, her parents threw her a surprise party, which she always remembered as one of her best birthdays. She was very popular in high school, having a great group of friends, being crowned prom queen. When Lexi broke up with Mark, she was feeling hurt and started a relationship with Jackson, until he realized that she still had feelings for Mark. Unwilling to wait for her, he broke up with her. She was on a plane that crashed, with Meredith, Christina, Arizona, Mark, and Derek going to another hospital for surgery to separate conjoined twins. A piece of the plane landed on top of her, crushing her pelvis and legs. Separated from the others, who were in the front part of the plane, she used a belt and knocked it against the piece of plane, crushing her. They concluded she was still awake and responsive, and an emotional Meredith went off to find Derek, who is still missing. Mark and Christina tried to lift the part of the plane, but without success. Mark yelled at Christina to go get fluids and oxygen tanks from the plane, and even though both she and Lexi realized that Lexi was dying, she left to get the supplies. After a little while, she dies. 3rd place, Robb Stark, Game of Thrones. Robb Stark is the oldest son of Eddard Ned Stark and his wife Catelyn, and has 5 siblings. He is also a close friend to Eddard's ward, Theon Greyjoy. Robb is constantly accompanied by his dire wolf, Grey Wind. Robb inherited his mother's Tully features, being strong and fast with a stocky build, blue eyes, and thick red-brown hair. As Eddard's heir, Robb remains at Winterfell and rules in his father's stead when Eddard goes to King's Landing to become King Robert Baratheon's King's Hand. After King Robert's death, Eddard is imprisoned in a political struggle with Queen Cersei. Robb calls his banners and raises a northern army to aid his maternal house Tully against the invading army, and wins. Robb is crowned king in the north and declares the North and the Riverlands an independent kingdom, officially starting the War of the Five Kings. Robb is ultimately betrayed and murdered at the wedding of his uncle Edmure with Rosalind Frey by the treacherous Walder Frey and Roose Bolton, under command of Tywin Lannister. 2nd place, Glen, Walking Dead. Glen is a fictional character from the comic book series The Walking Dead, in which he is known simply as Glen. Glen is a young pizza delivery boy from Atlanta who is separated from his family after the zombie outbreak and joins a group of survivors led by Rick Grimes. Glen is known for being quick-thinking and resourceful, which makes him the group's primary supply runner. As the group begins to move around the region looking for sanctuary, Glen meets Maggie Green, and they fall in love. Their relationship is tested in numerous ways throughout the series as their humanity is challenged in the face of numerous threats. They eventually marry and have a child. Negan selects Glen to die as a punishment for the Saviors Rick's group killed. He kills Glen to death with a baseball bat. Glen dies while helplessly crying Maggie's name. Rick and everyone else is left with Glen's mangled corpse as the Saviors drive away, with Rick swearing to avenge Glen's death. The character of Glen was acclaimed and a fan favorite. Ewan's performance was praised, and many fans have expressed that Glen's death was a turning point in the quality of the show. Before we unveil our pick for number 1, here are the honorable mentions.
Wait. Ma'am. Just wait! Derek.
He was the love of my life.
You saved me.
You too.
Amazing grace, but now I see.
I loved Finn. And
I mean, how did he breathe?
You knew it was gonna.
After Eric King, who played Dokes, was killed in the 2nd season, that was so hard for me.
oh, I now remember Glen. You get Glen.
Me too.
Isn't this place amazing?
Totally. I always forget that there are more than just that.
I want to be an architect.
First place, Hank, Breaking Bad. Hank Schrader was the husband of Marie Schrader and assistant special agent in charge of the Albuquerque office of the Drug Enforcement Administration. Hank was Walter White's brother-in-law. Although he was a highly competent agent and genuinely cared about Marie, Walter, Skylar White, and Walter White, his loud ways insulated him from the danger he faced daily. Hank's year-long investigation of the meth kingpin in the area named Heisenberg, the source of a mysterious high-quality blue meth, led him to expose Gus' drug empire and bring down Gustavo. However, he was unaware that Heisenberg was the alter ego of his brother-in-law, Walter. By linking Walt to Gail Bedecker, Hank eventually discovered Walt's secret and began to dedicate himself to bringing Walt to justice once and for all. With the help of Jesse Pinkman, Hank nearly succeeded in this task before eventually getting caught up in an intense gunfight with Jack Welker's gang. Hank was shot and killed moments later in execution style by Jack Welker. So what are your thoughts on these saddest deaths? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, make sure to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time for more.